My Sweet Audrina, Part 2, and we are on Wishes Come True. It was spring again. Mama had been dead for more than a year and a half. She was gone, but far from forgotten. I pored over her gardening books and taught myself to care for her roses. Each rose petal reminded me of Mama, with her creamy skin, her glorious hair, her rosy cheeks. In the backyard, my Aunt Elizabeth tended the onions, the cabbages, the radishes, cucumbers, and everything else she grew to eat. Things that grew and couldn't be eaten were valueless to my aunt. Vera was sometimes hateful to me, sometimes nice to me. I didn't trust her even when I wanted to. Now that Vera had claimed the rocking chair, I avoided it as I had before. Though Papa believed I still rocked in it, believed sooner or later the gift it had would be mine. "How old did you say you were?" asked Mr. Rinsdale one day after he explained again how I had to feel the music as well as learn to strike the right keys. For some odd reason, tears began to streak my face. When long ago I'd learned to accept my unique plight, I don't know. No one tells me the truth. I've got a sensory memory full of half-seen images that whisper I might have gone to school, yet my father and my aunt say I never have. Sometimes I think I'm crazy, and that's why they don't send me to school now. He had a graceful way of rising, like a ribbon unfolding. Slowly he came to stand behind me. His hands, much smaller than my papa's, caressed my hair and then my back. "Go on, don't stop. I'd like to hear more of what goes on in your house. You confound me in so many ways, Audrina. You are so young and so old. I look at you sometimes and I see someone haunted. I'd like to take away that look. Let me help." Just the tender way he spoke made me trust him, and out it all came, like a river bursting through the dam. All that confounded me came gushing out breathlessly, including Papa's insistence that I sit in that rocking chair and catch the gift that had once belonged to my dead sister. I hate having her name. Why didn't they give me my own name? He made some compassionate sound. "Audrina is a beautiful name, so right for you. Don't blame your parents for trying to hold on to what must have been an exceptional girl. Accept the fact that you too are exceptional, and maybe even more so." But I thought I heard something in his voice that said he knew more about me than I knew about me, and he pitied me and wanted most of all to shield me from whatever it was I wasn't supposed to know. And it was that one thing I didn't know that I had to know. Then before I knew what to expect, he had his fingers under my chin and was looking deep into my eyes. It was strange to be so close to an adult man who wasn't my father. I pulled away from him, a mixture of emotions stirring me into panic. I liked him, and yet I didn't want him to look at me in the way he was looking. I remembered Papa's warning about being alone with boys and men as flashing visions of the rainy day in the woods dazzled my eyes, making him seem a shimmery vision of the past, too. "What's wrong, Audrina?" he asked. "I didn't mean to frighten you. I just wanted to reassure you. You're not crazy. You're quite wonderful in your own special way. There's passion in your music, and in your eyes, too, when you lower your guard. Nature's going to wake you up one day, Audrina, and the sleeping beauty inside you will come into her own. Don't smother her, Audrina. Let her come out. Give her a chance to set you free, and your dead sister will haunt you no more." Filling with hope, I stared at him pleadingly, unable to voice my needs. Still he understood. "Audrina, if you want to go to school, I'll find a way to see that you go. It's against the state law to keep an underage child home unless that child is mentally or physically unstable and unable to attend. I'll talk to your father or your aunt, and you'll go to school, I promise." I believed him. It was his chocolate brown eyes. He meant what he said. I knew my eyes lit up with gratitude for Lamar Rinsdale, who swore the very next day he'd visit my aunt. I warned him my father wasn't likely to listen to him. Arden, Vera, and I swam in the river that summer, fished, and learned how to sail the small boat Papa had bought. Each month saw Papa just a little richer. Now he was making plans to fix up the house and restore it to its former grandeur. He talked so much about it without doing anything that I feared he never would. Anyway, it didn't matter now, for Mama was dead. My aunt was not as grouchy as she had been. In fact, I often saw her looking rather happy. Papa no longer made sarcastic, cruel remarks about her long face and her skinny figure. He even complimented her new hairstyle and her makeup she began to wear. Papa still wouldn't tell me why he couldn't bring Sylvia home. I saved money from the allowance he gave me to buy Sylvia rattlers and teething things, but he never brought her home. Now she was too old for those things. He told me the hospital wouldn't let her have her own toys. I still didn't understand what was wrong with Sylvia. Day by day, Arden was growing taller. He was 15 now, but seemed much older. He was beginning to plan for his future. "Now, please don't think this is silly," he began in a tentative way, "but ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be an architect. At night, I dream of the cities I'll build, functional and beautiful, too. I want to plan the landscaping, have trees in the middle of town. I'd make the highways multi-level so they wouldn't take up so much ground space. Audrina, just you wait and see. kind of cities I will build. I wondered for Arden what he wanted for himself, and many times I wondered why he bothered with me when so many other girls must have attracted his eyes. Why did he give me the feeling sometimes he was duty-bound to me and no other? Arden had up days, and a few down days. He liked being outdoors more than he liked being in, and I told myself time and time again that's why we never went into his house. And Billy must be just the opposite, for she never came outside. In all the time I'd known Billy and Arden, not once had she invited me into their home. Of course, I couldn't invite Arden into my home either because of Papa, and maybe they were just retaliating. Vera often teased and said Billy didn't think I was good enough for her son, not good enough for her house either. At the edge of the woods, Arden and I paused to say goodbye. As the sun sunk low over the horizon, Whiteburn loomed up dark and lonely against the sky. "What kind of sky is it?" I asked. "A sailor sky," he said, signaling a better day tomorrow. How like Arden to say that, even if it wasn't so. I looked from the house to the drive, then I stared off into the direction of the family cemetery. I had to clear my throat before I could ask, "Arden, just how long have you known me?" Why did he let go of my hand, blush, and turn away? Was that such an awful question? Was I convincing him with such a question that I was truly crazy? "Audrina, I met you first when you said you were 7. That wasn't the answer I wanted. "Hey, stop frowning. Run on home now so I can see you safely home before I go." From the doorway, I looked back to see him waiting there. I waved, then waited for him to wave back. Reluctantly, I entered the gloominess of Whiteburn. Time had slowed down, and August really dragged. The sultry, sticky days made me wish for a vacation where it was cool, but we never went anywhere. Inside the house, high ceilings made it cooler than outside, but the dimness of the rooms made the stained glass colors too brilliant, and the colors still tinkled the wind chimes that still tried to whisper secrets. "Papa," I said in September, "is Vera 3 years or 4 years older than me?" "She's 3, almost 4 years older." "What age does she tell you she is?" "It doesn't matter what she tells me, for she lies all the time, but she tells Arden she's older." "Vera is 14. Her birthday is November the 12th. I marked that down as possibly true, knowing that birthdays in our house just didn't happen normally. Knowing, too, the first Audrina's never party had spoiled all birthdays for everyone. I did remember my 11th birthday, for Arden gave me that piece of pink quartz he'd made into a rose. It hung around my neck on a slender gold chain and made me feel very special. No one at my house gave me anything for my birthday, or even wished me a happy birthday. I was still using my string tied to the ring trick, and giving Papa my list. Sometimes I found those lists in his office wastebasket, and sometimes I saw him stare at those lists for long moments, as if memorizing every stock I listed before he threw it away. In November, I caught him doing this. "You want me to do something to help you, and when I do, you pretend I don't. Papa, why do you go to such trouble to convince me I'm special, then toss away my list as if you don't believe I am?" "Because I'm a fool, Audrina. I want to gain by my own abilities, not by yours. And I've seen you perform your silly little trick of swinging the ring over the stocks. I want honest dreams, not contrived ones. I know when you're honest and when you're not. I'm going to make you what you should be if it takes me the rest of my life and yours." Chilled, I froze in position. "What is it you want me to be?" "Like my first Audrina," he said resolutely. Even colder, I backed away. Maybe he was the crazy one and not me. "What's up, honey?"